Welcome to Made-in-Alberta. I'm Barb Allard, and this is our chapter called Water and Weather. We've been discussing how global warming will shrink Alberta's glaciers and reduce the amount of water available for irrigation in the south. This is just one of many situations that will arise as the climate changes. We've also learned that prevention is a better option than trying to fix these problems after they arise. And as Dr. Martin Sharp explains, prevention requires international cooperation.
The IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, is a body that was established by the United Nations, the World Meteorological Organization, and it has three working groups.
Dr. Sharp is working with thousands of scientists around the world to contribute to our state of knowledge about the Earth's climate system.
Each working group reports every 5 years on essentially the state of knowledge in those three areas. Each report has, say, on the order of 20 chapters which deal with specific issues. And in each chapter, there's usually 3 lead authors and maybe 20, 30, 40 contributing authors. And then the chapters are sent out for peer review by probably on the order of 100 more people around the world.
The IPCC issued their first report in 1990. It was a warning that the recent rise in global temperatures was probably due, at least in part, to human activities. By the third report, in 2001, they were quite certain of it.
And that's, I think, for 2 reasons. One is we've got better techniques now for detecting or determining what that human influence is and seeing it in the observations. And I think probably more importantly is the fact that we've had another 15 years of increasing emissions of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So the forcing on the climate system is bigger, the response has become bigger, and it's easier to see it than it was 15 years ago.
As global warming increases, it causes climate changes for people around the world to adapt to as best they can. But if we want to minimize these changes, we have to get carbon dioxide back down to where it was before we started all this fossil fuel burning.
Every country on the planet is contributing to some extent to the fact that that level is going up over time. Some are contributing more than others, but none of them probably is contributing enough that if they acted alone, it would be sufficient to really stop CO2 going up over time. So the only way to address this problem is collective at the global level. It has to be done that way. But individual countries doing their own thing in an uncoordinated way is not going to achieve what has to be achieved.
The Earth's climate has always changed over time, but never this rapidly in our history.
It's essentially a human, political, economic, social problem that we're dealing with. And physical climate change is the backdrop to it, but the real concerns are the consequences of that.
Join us again as we explore water conservation options available to Albertans.